want to hear about spirituality?
Yeah.
No, seriously though, something really cool happened, and I was like, I'm going to talk about that. I went to a conference recently. I went to see my friend in Aspen, and I have this thing that I've been hearing on some book on tape because I have dyslexia and I can't read very fast. So I get books on tape, and I was hearing something about the power of intention. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna try and manifest this intention business sometime when I'm in Aspen. So I go to Aspen to visit my friend. And there was a conference there with the great minds. It's called the Aspen Institute. And they have the great minds from around the world. It's like a think tank. And so all the greats come, and this time they have these innovators who are changing the world and helping people around the world. And then there was Deepak Chopra who's going to be there. Woo! And it's kind of like if you're on, right? Woo! Yeah! Like if you are at all interested in any sort of like spirituality stuff, he's kind of the most evolved guy walking the walk. And I was like, Jesus is dead, and Gandhi's dead, and Mother Teresa's dead, Maya Angelou's dead, Nelson Mandela's dead, that Ruby guy's dead, I mean, Michael Jackson's dead. Who else can I go to? Thank you. Deepak was going to be there, and I was really excited about that. And actually, pretty quick after I land, I'm in a car with him. Because my friend who was organizing it, the ride that she organized for me didn't work out. And so all of a sudden I hear, Lee, Deepak, let's go, in the car. And I was like, that's a sentence I never thought I would hear in my entire life. So she gets in the front seat, and he's there, and I'm here, and here is a neurophysicist, a professor at Harvard, who's alleviating or trying to get rid of, or whatever, however he says it, Alzheimer's. So he and I are having a really good gab in the car about Frozen, the musical, because his daughter loves it. Two heady people here. So we're talking about Frozen, and then the whole time I'm looking at the back of Deepak's head. Deepak. I don't know how to say it right, so I always get it jumbled, so just correct me in your mind. So anyway, I'm sitting there looking at the back of Deepak's head, and I'm like, wow, I don't know if I'll ever be this close to him again while I'm on the planet. And wow, I really want to make the most of this minute. So he's still kind of talking about Frozen, and I just lean forward and gently caress his arm. And he's texting or tweeting or something, and he turns around and looks at me. And I said, I would like to share my intention with you. And he said, what is your intention? And I said, my intention is to soul gaze with you before I fly home on Sunday. Now, I'm getting my master's in spiritual psychology, and at the end of every weekend, it's a 3-day thing, and you go all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. By the end of Sunday, you were just like an open, loose noodle and loving everyone, and everything's so great and beautiful, and they do this thing called soul gazing, which was weird the first time, and it was actually pretty cool, because they say through the soul, you can see, through the eyeballs, you can see the soul. I made that up, kind of, but something like that. It's the window to the soul.
The window to the soul.
Yeah, thank you. So anyway, you look at people, and this pretty music comes on, and you grab them, and you look in their eyes, through it, down into them, and you see people in a new way who are completely open and connecting on this level. It's really unbelievable. So I'm like, shit, if I'm going to soul gaze with someone on this planet, it's going to be And he turns and looks at me, and I go, it's my intention to soul gaze with you before I fly home on Sunday. And he took his phone, and he set it down, and he turned, and he squared his shoulders, like turning all the way back towards me, and he goes, and I was like, I was freaking there. Yeah. We were connected, we were seeing each other for who we truly are, and I was just like in. And I mean, if you go like this, like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. It was like for 10 or 20 Mississippi. And then my friend is like this, are you crying yet, Lee?
Nice.
And I said, you know, my earth suit and my ego made me cry. But my soul is singing. Yeah. And then Deepak did a big smile and turned around and was like, oh, because you know what happened in that moment with him when he saw me and I saw him, and we were the same. We were the same, just like two freaking beautiful divine beings covered in this earth suit. And I was like seeing him, and I was like, I felt like, you know, if you fall in love, or even if you got drunk and really want to make out with someone, and that feeling you have where your heart's aflutter and you're just overwhelmed with, you know, it's a heartthrob. But when I saw him, it was like, I didn't want to make out with him. anything like that, but it was a soul throb. So I coined that phrase from that feeling I had with him in that moment, and he's my soul throb, Deepak. Thank you. So anyway, we had a nice time the rest of the time. I kind of hung out with him a little bit, and then at the very end, I knew it was the last time I was going to see him on Sunday, and he was walking out, and he looked at me, and I put my hand over my heart and I said, I love you. And he goes, I love you. And then I turned around but what was amazing about it is at this school that they're teaching us, it's like you go to therapy, right, and you talk about your shit, and you talk about your parents and what they said to you, and how everything was bad, or how you were molested, or like the stories that happened to create who we are right now, right? But the stories served us, and how we had to act back then served us, and now, so the class, you kind of deal with it, and you hear the stuff, and then you kind of go like this, and you're like, oh, I don't need that story anymore. It's not real. It's not happening now. It's just a memory. I don't need that. So you just like go, and you actually start letting things go, like dissolving, and then all of a sudden you have this open, wide, beautiful space, right? So what I want to encourage you guys is today or tomorrow or whenever the hell you want, realize that inside of you is this great being, because you were made in the likeness of God. So you are a chip off the old God block, right? So you're like, we're kind of God inside of our bodies, but it's gotten so covered up over all of the years with all the muck from our parents, our friends, our teachers, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, why the hell am I here, and who am I, what am I good at, and but when you start peeling back the layers and you get to your greatness, that you are so divine, so magnificent, so talented and brilliant and creative, and every single person is. So is everyone we're the same? And once you start peeling back the layers and letting the light crack and stepping into your fucking greatness, soul gaze with someone who's kind of like in the same thing, because it's amazing. And then if you can't really find anyone who's that amazing, then you can just do it yourself in the mirror. But I don't want to like be all braggy and stuff, but I soul gaze with Deepak Chopra.
For that to happen to, because I love that, of course, you were the one that is, seriously, she's like the instigator of so many things. And that's
so
just,
many things. Good and bad. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, and then what I want to say at the very top was, I think I might have said it. If you have a clear intention and you put it out to the universe, or even one person, magic will happen. Because it was just like that. So I couldn't cut my pie hole shut, play small. I just thought about it, but not like
would you suggest, I mean, I went to school for this, so would you suggest I gaze into like an air conditioning serviceman and with my intention say, don't fucking pile drive me up my ass.
Well, I think the first part was great, because he is a divine being as well, and you should be. So
no,
but I think if you attach this fucking all that kind of stuff on it, it might ruin the beauty of the gaze.
Yeah. But if I answer the door in a bikini, is that helping?